I'm Jenna Fleming, a licensed counselor in Georgetown, Texas, and also the owner of Central Texas Child and Family Counseling. We've got some locations in Georgetown and Liberty Hill, and I'm really grateful to get to create this video series for Hopewell Middle School. And today I'm going to talk to you about something that comes up a lot. This is a really common issue that people come in when they bring their teenager or their tween in for counseling sessions, and it's often something along the lines of my child or myself, we're struggling with managing anxiety or stress or depression or something really big and difficult, and we're looking for some better coping skills. So today I'm going to talk to you about coping skills. And first, let's talk about what it actually means. Sometimes we talk about things without realizing what it is. So a coping skill is essentially a tool or something that you can do that will help you get through a difficult time. So it's not going to solve the problem, it's not going to make your life any better, but it's something that you can use until that emotion goes away. One thing that we can forget when we're under a lot of stress is that no emotion sticks around forever. The sadness won't hang around forever, the overwhelm, the anxiety, the hopelessness won't stick around forever because emotions come and go. Same is for happy and joyful and all of the positive emotions that we enjoy feeling. Those don't last forever. So when we have those difficult feelings, when we're under a lot of stress, it's hard to manage those heavier emotions. And I get it. I think we can all relate at different levels. And some people are more sensitive, more emotionally impacted by stress than others. And that's not good or bad. It often means that you have a high capacity for empathy to understand the emotions of others. But you might need a bigger tool set of coping skills. And that's exactly what coping skills are. Think of it as like tools. Same idea behind if you're doing a construction project. Let's say you're building a house and you have all of these boards and you need to cut them to a certain dimension or whatever to be used for your construction project. You're gonna need certain tools. You're gonna need maybe a measuring tape to measure out the right length, and you're gonna need some sort of saw to make the cuts. What you don't need is a hammer. Sometimes when we're going through a difficult time, we pull out a hammer when what we really need was a tape measure or a saw. And so just because the coping tool that you're using in the moment isn't working doesn't mean that coping tool doesn't work at all. It could mean that you're using the wrong tool, or it could mean that even though you have a tool that can work, it's going to take some effort on your part as well. So let's talk about 6 big categories of different coping skills. You see, we're all so very different. And so what I say to you about what works for me or what's worked for other people I've counseled may not be the right tools for your particular personality or for that particular issue. So if you think about it more in these categories, it can be helpful so that you can create the tool set that you're most likely going to need and have lots of different skills that you can pull from when needed. Okay, so the first category is distraction. Sometimes we have this tidal wave of these really big, overwhelming emotions, and we just need something that's going to distract us away from it. So it could be listening to music or getting involved in sports, or sometimes people use social media, or children might use video games to distract themselves when they're under a lot of stress. Now, I'm sure you can hear, especially when I bring those last 2 things up, that distraction, using that can help us in the short term, but sometimes it can be taken too far, right? So the next category of coping tools is called grounding. And when you ground yourself, you're getting in touch with your body, with your 5 physical senses. So emotions you can't really see, can you? You can't grab them and you can't touch them, but you feel them and they're real. And sometimes when we get hit with these big emotions, we get what's called flooded, where it just seems like it's all consuming and almost like we get disoriented. We can't seem to see our way out of it. It feels very foggy or very heavy, like this weighted cloud on us, and all it can feel like is that we're in the emotion. So we want to get more in touch with our body, and you can think of that in your 5 senses. So that's hearing. So it could be things that you're listening to, maybe soothing music. Or for me, what I really like is I like to listen to a lot of uplifting music or uplifting podcasts, things that can help to bring my spirit up. At other times, you might need something that's more calming and soothing. Even listening to water running or some sort of white noise like that can be very soothing. Then you can think of your sense of smell. The scent of lavender can be very calming to people, or sometimes there's those sleep sprays that can calm the body down. You can, like a pillow spray or something like that. Touch. So different things can be, fidgets are things that people might use where they're touching, and that's actually more tactile, a way of kind of getting in touch with your body, or having something that's soft or something to play with, popping bubbles like bubble wrap, those types of things can be soothing. But really, it's just a matter of and you can think of all the 5 senses, and there are a couple of more ones that you can think of. There's a sense called vestibular, which is our awareness of up, down, all around. It's kind of that inner ear balance. So sometimes people find that vestibular stimulation can help, so swinging, rocking, those types of things. Or proprioceptive, which is pressure. That can also be very calming and grounding. That's why you might hear about things like weighted blankets for helping people to sleep who have anxiety, or a weighted stuffed animal. They sell those on Amazon, or weighted blankets on Amazon that can help calm children down or adults. These are all coping tools that can work for all of us. Okay, so the third category is called emotional release. Sometimes we just have this pent-up energy within us, these big emotions, and we just need to let it out. So sure, you can scream into a pillow, or you can punch a pillow. That's something you can do. Whatever it is, it needs to be safe to you and to others. For children, sometimes pushing up against a wall gives them just enough pressure and that release, that physical release. Or sometimes if they push and pull up on a chair that they're sitting in, that can help. For me, I use this a lot, but I use it on a regular maintenance basis when I go running. I really enjoy getting outdoors and getting in the sunshine, listening to uplifting music and going for a run, and that helps to get some of that release out. So it could be exercise, it could be dancing, popping balloons, all of those things that just sort of get that release out. Okay, so the fourth category of coping skills is called self-love. And a lot of times we'll hear things like self-care, but this category is really about being kind and gentle and caring to yourself, nurturing you. Sometimes we do the opposite of that. We're stressed out, and so then we start feeding ourselves things that are not very healthy. I do this a lot. I love ice cream, and when I get stressed out, I definitely want to indulge in Ben & Jerry's, or mint chocolate chip is my favorite. And that's tasty, and it makes me feel good in the moment, but ultimately it adds more stress to me. So thinking about things like what makes you feel really good. Maybe it's taking a long hot shower, or maybe it's just having a special meal, or sitting down with your family and spending some family time. Slowing down, doing things just for you, organizing your home, or tidying up your bedroom, or helping your child do that for themselves, or whatever it is that's loving and nurturing to you is a form of self-love. The fifth category is called thought challenge. And I'm actually going to talk about this in another video that I'll create. So I'm not going to go into this too much, but really this is about challenging that tendency that we have when we're in big stressful times or big emotional times where our brain is wired to think about the worst possible outcome or all the negatives of the situation or why we're not happy or what we don't have instead of what we have. So in a nutshell, a quick tip for this is, if you had a friend that was going through the type of stress that you were going through, what would you say to them? Another trick is, are there things in that moment when you notice that your mind is going to the negative that you can just kind of pause and think about things that you can be grateful for? There are always things that we have to be grateful for in any circumstance, whether that's the ability that we have our health, or that we have a shelter over our head, that we have something good in our life. We have family, we have memories, we have hope in the future. There's something good to be thankful for in every moment, and we can choose that. That is a free will right that nobody has taken from them. We have the ability to choose our thoughts, to choose to be grateful in any moment. Okay, and now the sixth and the last of these coping skill categories I'm going to talk to you about is called accessing your higher self. And that is, when we get under stress, a lot of times we're going through a hard time and it is really hard, and we start thinking negatively, and you know what? We can become really self-centered, right? I do this at least, right? We start thinking about how it's hard, I can't do this is hard, nobody understands. And we just start shining the light on ourselves. Think of yourself as if you had a flashlight and you're shining that flashlight right on you, on all your struggles, on all your pain, on all your anxiety, and all the things that are going wrong, and you just keep looking at those things. Well, you're gonna notice more of that. What if you took that flashlight and you shined it on someone else? And that's what accessing your higher self is. How can I move from looking at all that I'm struggling with and go outward and look at how I can help someone? What is it that I can do to encourage another person, to do something kind? Is there a volunteer activity that I can participate in? Could I, come up with a project for my family to engage in a volunteer service, or even just that mom who lives next door or down the road or goes to your church or you see at school that's struggling with their toddler, and you have some time on your hand and you can help her out. It's when we go outside of ourselves and we stretch ourselves and we extend ourselves in a giving, generous way, we start shining the light outward instead of inward at our own pain and struggles. And it's incredible how it is truly in the giving that we benefit and we receive so many good things in our own life. And that can help us cope while we're getting through our own difficult times. So I hope this was helpful for you. There are those 6 different categories of coping skills: distraction, grounding, emotional release, self-love, thought challenge, and accessing your higher self. Now, you can use this in your personal life as a parent, and you can also take this into your family. So whether you have little ones or you have teenagers, you can talk about these 6 different categories and get out a piece of paper and brainstorm, what could that look like for you? What could that look like in your family? You might decide that you're gonna put together a little coping corner if you've got little ones that are struggling with managing their emotions, or come up with, brainstorm some ideas that you wanna do as a family. There's kind of endless possibilities, but I hope that you can find this useful, and I'm looking forward to sharing my next video where we'll dive more into that thought challenge coping skill. Thanks.